What's happening, people? goukigod here, and I just wanted to make a quick video to discuss my second thoughts on Paladins after spending a little bit more time with it. Now, before I get started, I just want to apologize. I am sick at the moment. I've had a virus for a few weeks now, and it's just kicking my ass. So that's why I sound more awful than usual. So like I said, I've played Paladins a little bit more. I've sunk a few more hours into it. I've not been playing with bots this time. I promise you, I've been playing against real people. And I've actually been doing well against real people as well. So I think my comment from the previous video about the skill level of other people not being that high is still reasonably valid. Although there was a few scenarios in which I got completely stomped by a really well organized team. And that was good. That was really good to see that people with strategy and people with skill are playing the game, and that long term that I think this is going to give it legs. So in the previous video, I mainly focused on what I liked and didn't like about the game, and I also spoke about the obvious parallels to Overwatch, so I'm not really going to cover that in this video. What I wanted to mainly focus on with this video is talk about some of the updates that have happened to the game since I last played it, so mainly this year, and if I think that's vastly improved the game, if it's changed my perception of the game, and if I think it's better or worse. So the closed beta for console started, I think, back in September of 2016. I didn't actually get a chance to play it until December. I think the video that I put up might have been, almost New Year's. It was very, very late December of 2016. So it's been a couple of months since I've played it. And apparently the game is going to be going into open beta sometime in the first quarter of this year, which I think, if I've got my quarters right, is going to be pretty soon. So if you've been interested in the game, if you've been wanting to play it and you haven't had access to the closed beta, I think you're going to get an opportunity soon. It's actually been in open beta on PC for a really long time, possibly even as far back as 2015. It's been in open beta so long that the competitive side of things has actually entered its first season, which just started this year, which is on PC only. I'm assuming once console gets up to speed that we'll be looking at competitive seasons on that as well. As far as an official release date goes, or a date in which it comes out of beta, I have absolutely no idea. But from what I've read on the official Paladins site, is that any progress that you make from the beta will be carried on into the main game. So I think what they're going to do is they're just going to take the beta label off, and the beta will become the full game. Unlike a lot of the betas that we see with other games like Battlefield and Battlefront, where the beta is just kind of like a demo, and all the progress that you make in the demo or in the beta period is lost when you go to the full game. Okay, so what is new to the game since I've played it last? I must admit that I played it for the week that the beta was initially on, or the first week that the beta opened up on console. It's been running ever since, as far as I know, so I only played it for, like I said, a few hours in that first week and made my initial impressions based on my time with the game then. So a lot has happened since then. The game has had a huge amount of updates since it went into beta on PC. So things that they've changed, or things that they've added new champions. There are 4 new ones. Now, this is definitely not an exhaustive list. These are the ones that I've just noticed. So there's Inara, Lex, Maeve, and Torvald. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that dude's name, but he's the one with the weird floaty mech hand thing. He's kind of cool. Now, when I played the beta back in December of last year, I had access to all the heroes, so I got a chance to play around with a lot of different characters and see which ones felt comfortable to me. When I logged in this time, it's been locked down to the standard 8 characters, so the ones that you get straight off the bat without having to purchase any are Cassie, Drogos, and forgive me if I start to butcher some names here, I'm not a Paladins expert. You've got Fernando, Kinessa, Pip, Sky, Tira, and Victor. So on top of those, there is a ton of other heroes. There's 20 something. I keep calling them heroes. They're actually called champions. Sorry, this is my Overwatch brain consuming everything. Yeah, anyway, so there's about 20 different champions that can be played. You have to purchase them. You can purchase them with either gold or crystals. I think I got gold and crystals a bit confused in my last video. I think I thought that you had to spend both crystals and gold to unlock things like characters and cosmetic items, where I think it's actually crystals or gold. So if you know more about Paladins, feel free to fill me in this area of the game, because it's a little bit confusing. So on top of all the new heroes, they've added a ton ton of new cards, there's way more cosmetic items, there's a couple of new modes as well. I did play the survival mode, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think that's because it's a permadeath mode, so once you die, that's it, you have to wait for the round to restart until you can get back into the game, and I'm not a big fan of those modes. Like, I don't care for Search and Destroy in Call of Duty. I like to respawn and get back into the action. There's also quests as well, which I didn't get a chance to play because I haven't ranked up high enough. They've obviously done a huge amount of balancing and bug fixing as well, so a lot of the characters have had their various stats buffed and nerfed and abilities changed and modified to make things more balanced, which is a really good thing to see. It's nice to see that even a free-to-play game is getting so much attention from the developers to make sure that it's a fun and fair experience for everybody. And what you can do now, which is interesting, is you can actually unlock all the heroes, and I think it's a bunch of items and cards and stuff as well, with something called the Founders Pack. Now, I believe it's $15 US. It's something like $20 here in Australia. And yeah, that's a weird thing, to spend money on a game that's still in beta. So I know that this is a free-to-play game, and that essentially they'll be making their money from microtransactions, so I guess it makes sense that they want to kind of test out this platform and how people will interact with the game from a financial or economic point of view. But it definitely feels weird to spend money on a beta or a game that's not even officially released. So I don't know that I'm going to be playing Paladins long term, so at this point I don't really want to sink any money into something that I'm not going to be playing for more than a few hours. But based on my time with the game, I definitely want to sink a little bit more time into it, to invest a bit more time into it, to see if it's going to be something that I want to play. But I think ultimately, and I think I mentioned this in my previous video, it's going to depend on if any of my friends or anyone that I know decides to pick up this game. So I think that for me is going to be the ultimate deciding factor to whether I decide to play this game long term or not. There's a couple of other things that I'm still not sure about as well. The horses, for instance, I still don't really know if they're necessary. Yeah, they get you back into the action quickly, but I'm still concerned that they end up making the matches bottleneck. And for some reason, maybe it's just me, but why on earth do the horses move so slow in reverse? It's like a punishing mechanic that if you accidentally veer into a corner or into a wall, that it's so hard and so slow to get out of it. The horses are really wonky to control as well. They're quite twitchy, and the turning mechanic is just not really well animated. So I don't know, this is something that I still think needs a lot of attention. But that's really my only issues with the game at the moment. For the most part, I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying it more this time round than I did back in December. I think that's because the game feels more polished. There's still a ton of bugs, and I still had crazy latency or lag issues, predominantly because I was playing people on the North American server, so that's to be expected. But overall, yeah, I really did enjoy myself. My new favorite champion is Kinessa, who is a sniper. I guess if you want to make an Overwatch comparison, she's a little bit like Widowmaker. She's got like a sniper mode, and then she's got a machine gun mode. She's also got the ability to teleport up onto different platforms or different areas quite quickly, so mobility is really high with her. So that's who I've predominantly been using this time round. I also did try Pip, and I was playing with Victor a little bit as well, just because he feels very familiar. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with Paladins. Let me know if you've played it and how you're getting on with the game, whether you're playing on PC, Xbox, or PS4. If you're someone that wants to get into the game and you've got more questions, be sure to hit me up in the comment section below. But otherwise, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm going to go lie down.